lobster fra Diavolo. I'm going to start by slicing some garlic. I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to take some green onions, take off some of the green. You want to get about half the green, and then half of the whiter part. It's going to add color, and we're not going to really cook these. We're going to add this right at the end. What this lobster this morning, it's a little over 1.25 pounds. Now, when you get the lobster, you want to make sure it's alive. When you hold it upside down, you want to make sure that the claws and the body don't just droop down. So I'm going to leave the rubber bands on for now. The way to quickly kill a lobster, take a knife, sharp knife, be careful because the shell is hard. You want to put the knife right down the center of the lobster's head and cut right through there. Okay, that kills the lobster instantly. It's still going to move, but it's dead. Trust me, it's dead. So now I'm going to cut the other way, right down the center of the lobster. And I've cut it in half. I'm going to take the rubber bands off. I'm going to crack these shells with the backside of the knife so that it's easier to take the claw meat out after it's cooked. Cracking the shell. And now I'm going to saute this. Nice saute pan here. My oven is on because I'm going to finish this in the oven. And I'm going to use butter and olive oil. You don't want the butter to burn, so it's got to work quickly. Grab my lobster, put it cut side down. I'm going to take this claw off. This is the one that pinched me. And lay it there. Take the other half. So you want to saute it until this is browned a little bit on the underside. I'm going to throw it in the oven and finish it in the oven. I have the oven at about 375 degrees. That was a 1.25 pound lobster, a little over 1.25. So that'll probably take about 5 to 7 minutes in the oven. I'm going to remove the meat and set the meat aside. I'm going to leave the roe inside the pan. That's going to add to the sauce. So basically you have your tail meat here. So there's that. Some more of the insides there. Now for presentation, you want to try to keep the claws intact. So first break off and wiggle this piece. Then you're going to break the knuckles off. Then you're going to try to open the shell here. It's still hot inside, so there's one nice piece. Put that over here. The pan that we used for the lobster, we didn't clean it out. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to it. I'm going to add some garlic. And I'm going to put some cherry tomatoes, these are grape tomatoes, in there. You want them to wilt and just break open. I'm going to break up the little piece of cartilage that I'm going to throw away. Our pasta's over here cooking. I'm using linguine. You want to make sure the water's boiling before you put the pasta in. You want to salt it. You want it to taste like seawater. That's how you know you have enough salt in it. So we're going to cook some linguine. I have about 1.5 gallons of water here. You want to have at least 1 gallon per pound. The more water, the better. If you have too much water, it's going to take forever to heat up. So I'm going to salt the water. You want it to be a good strong boil when you put the pasta in. If you don't have enough water in it, the starch doesn't come off the pasta and it sticks together. Okay, so I put the pasta in and you have to stir it. With this linguine, it's a little thicker than spaghetti. It's going to take about 10 minutes to boil, to cook. So once it's been going a little bit and you make sure it's stirred and separated, you can just let it cook. I'm going to turn it down a little bit more. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. The only way to really tell if it's cooked properly is to taste it. I'm going to pull one piece out, shake the water off so it doesn't burn my fingers, and taste it. Okay. So that's done. It's al dente. I'm going to shut this off. You can go drain it in the sink, but because we're going to plate this up right away, I'll just leave it in the water for a couple minutes. It's going to continue cooking while it's in the water, so you have to keep that in mind when you show you that. I'm going to add some crushed chili flakes, and that's what's going to give it the spiciness. I'm going to add that right to the oil. I'm going to add strained tomatoes. I'm going to turn it down now. I'm going to add a little chicken stock. A lot of recipes call for fish broth. But in my opinion, that gives it too much of a fishy taste. So the chicken stock is a little more mellow. Turn this down. I'm going to add all the lobster except for the claw meat, or the claws, just to warm it up. My pasta's done now. There you have lobster fra Diavolo. Costs about $7 per plate to make. You have your vegetable, your starch, and your protein.